Hey guys, it's Linh here. Today I'm going to tell you 10 things you didn't know about Japan. These are all the things that I have noticed so far since I started living in Japan. It's quite interesting and I think not that many people talked about this topic before, so I decided to share these 10 things with you guys. Here's number 1. If I ask you what year it is right now, for sure most of you will say that it's 2018. Or if you're watching this video in the future, maybe you'll say that it's 2019, 2020 or something. But let's not make it too complicated. The answer is 30. Do you know why? If you don't know why, I'll tell you why. Japan is one of the few countries that still have emperor.
The reign of each emperor is marked with a specific era name. Therefore, the years in Japanese calendar are identified by combining two elements. The first element is the current era name, and the second element is the number of years the current emperor has reigned. For example, the name of the current era is Heisei, and by 2018, Emperor Akihito has been on the throne for 30 years, so 2018 is referred to as Heisei 30. The four most recent era names are Meiji, Taisho, Showa, and Heisei, each corresponding with the rule of one emperor. The era names can be abbreviated by taking the first Chinese character or the first letter of their Romanized names. Since the majority of government and official papers use Japanese year system, I normally have to use a website like this for conversion. As you can see here, Showa 55 is 1980 and Heisei 22 is 2010. To be honest, this system is quite troublesome and time-consuming. So this is you in front of an Apple store, extremely excited because you're about to get a brand new iPhone. Now that you're holding the new phone on your hand, you cannot wait to try out all of the features, including the camera. As soon as you press the button, the shutter sound goes off, so everyone was staring at you. No matter how many times you try, you still cannot turn off the annoying sound. All I can say is welcome to Japan.
If you buy a phone in Japan, especially iPhone, it's likely that you cannot turn off the shutter sound. I think you should keep this in mind before purchasing a phone in Japan. I heard that the sound is there to prevent some perverts from taking photos under women's skirts. It's also because of privacy issues, you cannot just randomly take a photo of someone you don't know.
My solution is that I always have a silent camera app on my phone, and this allows me to take photos without making sound.
However, the quality of these photos cannot be as good as taken by a normal camera.
Here you are in a clothing store in Japan and you found the perfect dress that you really want to try on. So you pick it up and bring it to the fitting room. Before guiding you to the room, the staff will give you a white piece of fabric, which you have no idea what it is. So this is how it looks like. It's actually a face cover that you use to prevent clothes from getting stained by your makeup. Sometimes the staff doesn't give it to you directly, but you can find it in a small box on the floor of the fitting room. There's a detailed instruction here, but not every shop has this. So it may be confusing and it's a bit tricky to use.
This is the face cover, and I remember when I first came to Japan, I was really confused. I didn't really know what to do with this. At first, I thought they wanted me to use the face cover so that I wouldn't ruin my makeup when I tried the clothes on. However, I didn't do any makeup back then, so I told them I didn't need it. Then they told me that they were asking me to use that to keep the clothes clean, not because of my face. I felt so embarrassed. In Japan, delivery is efficient, cheap, fast, and convenient. This is actually one of the things that I love the most about this country, and you have no idea how much I actually appreciate this. One of the most popular and trustworthy logistic companies in Japan is Yamato Transport, which is also known as Kuroneko. Let's take a look at how much it costs.
Sending a parcel from Okinawa to Hokkaido is only around 4,000 yen for the biggest size, and it's only around 2,500 yen for other areas. So I think you can get some idea how cheap it is.
It's also super convenient because if you want to send something, you can ask the staff to come directly to your house and pick the parcel up, or you can drop it off at a convenience store nearby. When you order something from the internet or when you want to send something to someone else, you can always assign a specific arrival time that is most convenient for you. If you're not home when they deliver, they will leave a paper with their phone number and a code for your luggage, and you can use that code to ask for redelivery through internet or through the phone. Recently, you can also ask for redelivery through line message.
For some websites like Amazon, it's also possible to order something and ask them to send it to a convenience store nearby, and you will pick it up later from there.
There are a lot of things that Japanese do very often, but it's hard for you to know these stuff if you don't live in an environment surrounded by Japanese. For example, I noticed that when Japanese are with a group, they always stand in a perfect circle. The more people in the group, the bigger circle it will be. I think if you pay attention, you'll see this very often on the street, especially after a drinking party or some kinds of meetings. People will just form a circle and talk to each other for the last time before saying goodbye and heading to different directions. I found this interesting because in my country, people will just stand in random spots. I don't know why Japanese do this, and I'm quite sure that they don't even realize that they do this kind of thing. But I guess they do this to make sure that everyone can see what is going on and can participate in the conversation. Another thing is that Japanese bow a lot, especially in a business setting. When I was looking for a job before, I joined a business manner class and we had to learn how to bow properly. I had to practice 3 different bows. You lean forward 15 degrees, 30 degrees, or 45 degrees. After I joined a Japanese company, I actually learned the same thing again, so you can see that it's quite important in Japan. After you have a meeting with a Japanese, if you are the customer, normally they will take you to the elevator, press the button for you, and wait for you to get inside. They will start to bow like this, and they will not get back to their normal posture before the door is completely closed. If they take you directly to the front entrance, they will stand there and they will start to bow, and they will not go back inside before they are sure that you have walked far away from where they are standing. Another thing that I want to introduce to you is Tejime. Te means hand and Jime means to close or to end something. It's a hand clapping custom performed at the end of a drinking party or an event. There are many ways to do this, but because I'm living in Kanto area, I'm only used to something called Ipponjime. Basically, at the end of a party or an event, a person will stand up and give the last speech. Then they will ask everyone to put their hand up like this, and they will say yo and clap to mark the end of the party. I heard that this is only called Ipponjime in Kanto area, but in other places in Japan, this can be referred to as Ichojime. And in those areas, when they say Ipponjime, it can refer to clapping your hand in a 3-3-3-1 rhythm like this. They also have Sambonjime, which is when you do this for 3 times. I only got to know this after I started to work for a Japanese company, so I guess not that many people have heard of this before. Anyway, Japanese do a lot of stuff like this and many more, but I could just briefly explain some of them in this video. If you want to know more about Japanese customs or business manner, feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know. You'll see this a lot in Japan. Recently, one of my friends came all the way from US to Japan for traveling, and the first question that she asked me was this one. Why do so many people here wearing a mask? Is it polluted or something? In fact, there are a lot of reasons to wear masks in Japan, but pollution is definitely not one of them. Many people actually wear masks because they suffer from pollen allergy or hay fever. Or they also wear it a lot during the winter to keep their face warm or to avoid catching flu, especially during flu season. Also, when people are sick, they tend to cover their face so that they will not spread it to others. Sometimes when people are tired or on the days that they don't look super good, they also cover their face so that they don't have to show it to other people. I always take a nap on train or public transportation, so when I'm sleeping, I don't really want people to see my open mouth. That's why I often use a mask.
Wearing mask is so common in Japan that in any supermarket and convenience store, you can easily find a big box like this, and inside there are a lot of them. I don't think it's very good for environment, so maybe I should stop using this.
In my country, people always use a fabric mask and use it again and again. But in Japan, it's more common to just buy it from the store and throw it away after using. If you go to Japan, you will see people using hand gesture very often. The most common one is this or this. They use it to tell you that something is not allowed or something is not good. The opposite of that is this, and it means that it's okay or it is allowed. If you are in a restaurant, you may see some people doing this to the staff when they have already finished eating and want to pay. It basically means check please. A lot of Japanese people also tend to point at themselves like this when they talk about themselves. Another common gesture is this, and it means money. Like you can say that I want to travel to so many different places, but this is the problem. I have this problem. And everyone should be able to understand what you're trying to say. Also, they use this finger to talk about girlfriend, and I heard that they use this finger for boyfriend. I actually have never seen anyone use this before, but this one is really common. When you are in the middle of the crowd, you may notice that some people do this while walking, and basically it means that they want to get through. These are just some of the most common gestures in Japan. Since I have friends who come from many different countries, I know that the same hand gesture can mean different things depending on where you come from. Does any of this have different meaning in your country? I'd love to hear more about that. Throwing garbage in Japan is super complicated. First, it is confusing because you have to separate garbage into many different types. The rule of separation is different in every city, and some cities require you to use a specific type of garbage bag to throw them. For example, I used to live in a city called Beppu before, and there we had 3 different types of garbage bag: green, pink, and white.
Green bag is for combustible or burnable trash. White is for incombustible and non-burnable trash. Pink is for PET bottle and cans, and the rest should be thrown separately. If you have any big stuff that you want to get rid of, you have to call someone to come and pick it up, and of course you have to pay money to get rid of those stuffs.
However, where I'm living now, we don't have any specific type of garbage bag. We can just throw it in any bags that we want. Also, we have to separate burnable trash and plastic trash. The second thing that makes throwing trash such a pain is that you have to follow a specific schedule.
For example, in this city, as you can see, you can only throw burnable garbage on Tuesday and Friday, and you can only throw non-burnable and PET bottles twice a month.
Normally, you can receive this schedule from the city hall or from the real estate agent when you move into an apartment. Forgetting to throw trash on a specific day may mean that you have to wait for another week or another month to have another chance to throw the trash. Again, the schedule is different in every city, so make sure that you follow the rules of the place that you're living in. There's a form of Japanese wordplay called Goroawase. There are many ways to read a number in Japanese. They have onyomi, the original Chinese reading of the Chinese characters, and they have kunyomi, the Japanese reading, and the English reading. Therefore, it's common to put a series of numbers together and associate each number with a specific way of pronunciation to make a sentence. Japanese normally use this for telephone number to make it easier for people to memorize.
For example, we have this leaflet of a musical play by Shiki Theatre Company, and you can see the number to make a reservation right here. After they take several different readings of each number and put them together, they got this sentence, Yoyaku shiyoyo, which means make a reservation. Here's another example for you. The sentence they made is Yotsuya ni gogo. Yotsuya is the name of the school, ni means to, and gogo literally means go. So you can see they want to say go to Yotsuya, which is perfect for advertising this school.
I think this is really interesting and people can be really creative with this. In Japan, everyone has a personal seal, which is known as inkan or hanko in Japanese. This will replace your signature, and you're going to need it when you make a bank account, rent an apartment, or fill out some official documents and so on. Sometimes you can actually just sign, but it's always better to have a personal seal. You can make it for a cheap price in a shop. For Japanese with a common family name, they can just get it easily from Daiso or any 100 yen shop. For foreigner, you can make a seal in alphabet with your initials or your full name, or you can make it in katakana. I heard that if you want to start a business in Japan, you will have to make 3 types of seal. Representative seal, seal for banking transaction, and 1 square seal for everyday business transaction. Alright, that was 10 things that you didn't know about Japan. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you want to watch more video about life and travel in Japan. I wish you a wonderful week and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!